Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and I just gotta say, I am so uber stoked that DanMachi is back with its second season. On my channel, I covered the entirety of the first season in episodic reviews, and then the spin-off, DanMachi Gaiden, I also covered because I just love this series to pieces, and I'm so glad to see Belle Crannell back and Hestia and Eyes Wallenstein and all that kind of stuff. The hilarity that ensues in this episode, it's like it's never been away. It never missed a beat. It almost feels uneventful, which is strange for a season opener, that kind of thing. But it also singularly gives us the impression that no matter how much you strive, no matter how much you beat your demons and you face up to the responsibilities of your life, in the case of Belle Crannell, and even when you're successful, I mean, there's always going to be somebody. There's always going to be that jerk face that tries to get up in your face to prove themselves with a chip on their shoulder, as is the case with everyone in Apollo, Familia. They're all scumbags, and apparently they were set up because Apollo has a bone to pick with Hestia, and he wants, his claim on Belle Crannell for whatever reason, probably to do with his grandfather and his familial history, which is still somewhat a mystery. It's still shrouded, in shadow and everything like that. And I'm hoping we're going to delve a little bit more into that, get more revealed about that, his family history, and the source of his abilities, as we saw at the culmination of season one. He is one of my, on my anime list, one of my top 10 favorite anime characters in the little listing, the sidebar that you can put on there, for the sheer fact of his force of will, the fact that no matter what got up in his face, no matter what adversity, was standing before him, he would constantly pick himself back up, and he would constantly dust himself off, and he would face it again. He would strive that much harder. And the strength that he bore by the end of the first season was so utmost satisfying and mind-blowing all at the same time, because it was well earned. It wasn't just the sort of usual anime thing where characters are just OP for no reason and that kind of thing. No, he did not start off OP. He grew into that power, and it was a step-by-step process. And all along the way, he was guided by Hestia, the goddess Hestia, who, again, is just as adorable as she was, as is, I might add, Eyes herself. And the whole orchestration in this big gala ball event that happens in this episode, I said it was, almost uneventful, but it was eventful in a characterization, framework, in that sort of point of view, because we have, like, Hermes and other gods and goddesses and things like that, who sort of who've been watching from outside that rapport that exists between Belle and Eyes and everything like that, and how, Belle, he's never going to really act on it himself. He's always got Hestia trying to keep him away from Eyes, everything like that, because of Eyes, her personality, the way she is. She's not going to, ever say anything necessarily, but they have eyes for each other. They've kind of been looking at each other, and they've kind of been interested in each other. And so I loved the orchestration of getting them to dance together and everything in this episode. It was absolutely adorable as all hell and very sweet. And even as they're on the dance floor, they're getting, pointers, Belle's getting pointers as to how to dance, don't watch your feet, make eye contact, look at your partner and everything like that. And there was this romantic edge to it, and if you appreciate those characters, then it was very eventful, because it's almost, without going all the way, and all the way to the end game of their being in a partnership, becoming a couple. I mean, it's definitely a thorough step along that journey, and it was satisfying for that. But of course, as I say, somebody's gonna step to the situation, especially if you're successful, as Belle is, and it's been well earned, that kind of thing. He's back at it in the dungeon with his posse, and it's just like, everything's sort of average and normal again, and, they're invited to this gala ball, and he dances with this, woman who he's so consumed with, and not just, like a sexual thing or like an attractive thing. I mean, he genuinely sort of idolizes her. He has her hoisted up on a pedestal for her sheer power and prowess. which, you know, plays back into Ai's training him and everything like that, and helping him soup up his power. And she was mind blown to see how the first season rounded out with that power coming to a pseudo fruition. But I guess all of that was just sort of the first stage of the rest of his life, in a sense, and whatever happens from then on, which we're going to be, you know, delving into in this second season, I assume. But so, you know, Apollo, the god Apollo, his true nature is then revealed. I don't know if he actually orchestrated this whole gala ball just for this purpose, just to get everyone under the same roof so he can make this grand declaration in front of all of them. I presume so, but, you know, it was a means to an end of his basically challenging Hestia because of the bone he has to pick with her, as well as that whole setup, you know, sort of framework where his bastard posse got up in the face of Bel and his posse and started that fight, picked that fight. And so now this guy, he's got the littlest one of his familia coming out in a full body cast, and he's like, you picked a fight with us, we're going to challenge you to the war games. And just like, you know, the other leg drops. Oh, so that's what it was all about. Great. You know, and I don't know if this is going to be like a season-long thing, an ongoing thing, if that's sort of the focused arc of the season. I've never read the source material, so I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. But it's like, okay, yeah, this guy's a sumbitch. You know, what else can you do? I guess that's going to be the first challenge in any case, if not the entirety of the challenge for the season. And I just love the fact, as I said, that we've got Bel and Hestia and Eyes and all that kind of stuff back, Hederamis and all these other characters. The only one missing from this episode and thus far from the season that I hope is going to be coming back, which I didn't really see her too much in the OP, you know, that kind of thing, but is Ryu, you know, the sort of elfin lady, the baddest ass in this show, just shy of Bel Crannel himself by the end of season 1. You know, she's the type of person you do not want to mess with, because she will hand you pieces of yourself back to you if you, you know, say the wrong thing to her, or you impress upon her something negative, that kind of thing. And she definitely became one of my favorite characters of the series on whole. So I do hope we get to see her in this season, and we get to see her kicking some ass. You know, she'd be a necessary part of Bel's posse if these war games deal. You know, it's not like a one-on-one thing where it's Bel versus whoever Apollo Familia chooses. You know, like their one D-bag who almost basically handed Bella's ass. I mean, it kind of all out did hand Bella's ass in the tavern where the fight happened. But like if they pick him and Bel and it's just them one-on-one, Bel doesn't really necessarily stand a chance unless he goes all out like he did toward the end of the first season. So, you know, Ryu is somebody necessary to have there. Eyes would be nice to have there as well, but because of the conflictual nature between the familias and everything like that, Bel is kind of sort of on his own. He's by himself. He's, you know, on his lonesome, and it's gonna be a hard sort of challenge to face whatever these war games are if it's a one-on-one kind of thing. So again, this would be a perfect opportunity to bring Ryu back in, to have Eyes helping Bel and everything, and we'll just see how it all shakes down. I don't know if I'm going to be coming back every week to discuss this in weekly episodic review discussion videos, but you know, I may sort of do a thing where I do this sort of you know, welcoming back video, and then toward the end of the season, either it'll be a part of you know, my post-season wrap-up video, favorites and everything else, or I may do an overview. You know, it all depends on how I feel from week to week and whatever else I got going on offline. But I just had to come on and say DanMachi is back. The second season is officially upon us, and I'm stoked for it. I'm so excited by it, by its return, and the return of these characters and this world, because it made such an impression upon me. I have somewhere in a box put away a little, you know, sort of staction piece of Hestia, because I always like to have something tangible, you know, in connectivity to anime and things like that I watch that I enjoy. And maybe I'll dig her out at some point. She can guest star in one of these videos if I end up doing episodic discussions. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 1 of season 2 of DanMachi, the epic return of DanMachi if you watched it as well. If you were as excited as I am and such like that in the build up to it, were you part of the hype train? Is it something brand new to you? If it is, you're going to be sort of mystified by some of what's going on in it. But yeah, love it or hate it, anything goes in the comments below. And if you happen to enjoy this video and would like to consider supporting my channel, please have a look at my PayPal support link posted both in the description as well as the comments below, which affords you opportunities very much akin to Patreon, where you can set up a monthly recurring contribution, a one-time only kind of thing, or you can send me a personal message with any contribution you send my way, requesting topics I may discuss in the future, ask for shoutouts, or make recommendations of things I may check out and would inevitably shout you out down the line if I happen to discuss. And anything you saw fit to send my way would be 2 thumbs up for me in securing my longevity on YouTube for the foreseeable future, and just be very much appreciated. And so yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with episode 2 if I end up coming back to talk about it or not. But in the interim, I'll see you when I see you, and I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.